information, Mr. Brett.
Thank you, Mary.
Is there anything else you need?
No, you run along. I'll lock up.
You won't forget you have a classified letter to file.
I'll lock that up, too. Good night, Mary.
Good night, Mr. Brett.
Write the things which thou hast seen, and the things which are, and the things which shall be hereafter.
Good evening, sir. How are you today?
Hot. Large whiskey, please. Thank you, George.
You wanted to see me?
15 minutes ago, Drake.
I'm sorry, I was with the medical officer.
Anything wrong with you?
No, routine checkup.
I could have waited until you'd seen me.
I thought you'd prefer me to dress before I reported, sir.
I'll just make sure that you're not 15 minutes late for your plane this afternoon.
Where to?
Beirut. We have a lead on the opposition organization that's operating out there. His name's Brett. John Brett. He's a British businessman working for one of the Middle East oil companies. He handles a lot of classified information. We've recently discovered he's been passing it to the opposition.
How did you get onto him?
Oh, we intercepted some of their intelligence reports containing details of our oil interests in Saudi Arabia. We traced the leak back to Brett. Naturally, we've known for some time that the opposition have been active in Beirut, but this is our first positive lead. Now, if you handle this properly, Drake, it's an opportunity to uncover the whole network.
Sounds like a big job.
So?
I assume you'll give me a proper team to work with.
Haven't I always given you adequate support?
I sometimes think that you overestimate my capabilities, sir.
You need have no fear of that, Drake. You'll have the full resources of the Beirut station at your disposal. Mrs. Dutton is in charge. Have you met her?
Arthur Dutton's widow? No.
You will this evening. You've been invited to a party where you'll be introduced as a visiting journalist. Mr. Brett will be one of the guests.
Do you realize, Mr. Drake, that within a few decades, all the known oil reserves in the world will be completely exhausted? Every petrol engine in the world, every jet, every diesel will have to come to a halt. Their tanks will be dry. Mark my words. The country that controls the last productive oil fields will be able to dictate terms to all the others.
Which country will that be?
Well, it won't be England, I can tell you that. Hello, Mary. Enjoying yourself?
Very much.
I want you to meet Mr. Drake, my secretary, Mary Wilson.
How do you do?
Huh?
Oh, won't it? Don't move out on you. Just stay exactly as you are. Now, that's absolutely perfect. You're the stranger I've been looking for.
Mr. Drake, Mrs. Curtis.
How do you do? Now, wouldn't it be perfect, Mary? Wouldn't it be absolutely marvelous? Mr. Drake, are you a quick study?
What's that mean?
Mrs. Curtis is producing a play.
Yes, Love from a Stranger. You know it. Most exciting. Cecily Harrington, that's Mary, falls in love with a handsome stranger and marries him, and then finds out that he's a murderer. He peroxides his hair. Oh, Mr. Drake, the part was made for you. Don't you think we could learn it in time for us? We open next week.
I'm afraid not.
Oh, Mary, now do persuade him, darling. He was your charm.
I'm sorry, I'm no actor.
You want to be stuck with Willie Harris.
I don't want to play the part at all.
Now, Mary.
I'm sure Willie will be very good.
Oh, he'll be terrible, of course. Can you imagine him with his hair peroxided? Well, just look at him. You hope he didn't hear what I said. He's second secretary of the embassy, you know. But I mean, what I mean, he doesn't look like a murderer. Now, does he, Mr. Drake?
Do I look like a murderer?
Oh, you're fascinating. I'm sure Mary could succumb to you instantly, couldn't you, darling?
Let me get you another drink.
Please don't bother. Would you excuse me?
And now you promise to come back to us, don't you?
Yes, of course.
Oh, Mary, if only I were younger.
Oh. Say when? When?
Oh, you must be Drake.
That's right.
I'm Archie, World Press Agency.
Yes, I know. You're my host.
Oh, yes, I am.
I'm a great admirer of your work.
Really, that's extraordinary. One gives them what they want. Oh, we must get together sometime. Catherine. Catherine, dear, would you look after Mr. Drake while I circulate? It's getting to be a good bargain.
Yes, 'tis indeed.
I do apologize, Mr. Drake.
What for?
My husband. I'm afraid he was well underway before you arrived. You must meet him sometime.
I'd like to. He's a very good journalist.
I'll come and have dinner with us one evening. Give him a chance to make amends.
That's very kind. Thank you very much.
Please forgive him then.
Nothing to forgive.
Joe, love. Go get a drink.
Hello, Joe. Thanks. Do you know Mr. Drake? John Drake, Joe Dutton. How do you do? Edward seems to have got the party spirit. Excuse me, will you?
I'm so late, I'm sorry. I was caught up at the office.
Where can we talk?
On the terrace.
Did London brief you?
Yeah. John Brett of all people. I can hardly believe it.
Is he a friend of yours?
I thought he was.
Pity you didn't know him better.
Are you sure about this? Have they got proof?
But he was given some marked information. It turned up later in an opposition intelligence report.
Well, what are we to do?
Tomorrow he's going to receive some more classified material. I want to know exactly what happens to him. Now, that means a 24-hour watch. I shall want 2 of your men to work shifts with me and another one to monitor his phones and his mail.
2 of my men? Mr. Drake, I haven't got 1 man available.
Didn't London brief you?
Oh, yes, they told me I had to give you every assistance. But I can't give you men. Look, I've got 6 agents. 1 of them's in hospital and the other 5 are out on other assignments.
You'll have to recall 2 of them.
All right. May take a couple of days.
Mrs. Dutton, I need them tomorrow, a.m.
Then you'd better get them flown out from London.
But we need local men for a job. Well, what kind of organization do you run here, anyway?
Well, you try running a local station sometime. I can't just pick up the phone and ask for what I want like you people. Oh, no. I've got to refer everything back to London. And then, if I'm lucky, I get half of what I want a week too late.
Now you've told me what you can't do.
Yes.
Tell me what you can.
Well, when I'm short of men, I sometimes manage to wheedle them out of Captain Atala,
Who's he?
head of Lebanese security.
We've no liaison with the Lebanese.
Oh, I have. It's an unofficial arrangement. They may not be our allies, but at least he's a friend of mine. I'll introduce you.
No. No, I don't know you. I don't know anything about M9. I'll introduce myself.
Right.
So, you are not a journalist, Mr. Drake.
No, thank you.
And perhaps you are not an investigator for the Board of Trade, either.
But I assure you, Captain, I mean, my London office will confirm it if you think it necessary.
I would have thought this a matter for the British Intelligence Service.
But he hasn't been giving away military secrets or anything of that sort.
Only trade secrets.
Yeah.
To the east.
I'm afraid so.
You British, you never cease to amaze me.
But you mustn't take him as typical.
Oh, no, it is you who are typical, Mr. Drake. A British subject has contact with an Eastern espionage system. So what do the British government do? They send out a member of the Board of Trade. David and Goliath. It's ridiculous. The great tradition of the amateur. What will your country do, Mr. Drake, in this modern world?
But I'm a fully qualified investigator. I completed the course at our training center. With credit, I may add.
How long was your course?
4 months, full time.
My men are trained for 5 years. Read Kemal Hussein. I'll put a 24-hour watch on you, Mr. Brett. You go back to your hotel and relax. I hope you enjoy your stay in Beirut. I'll let you know if I get anything.
But I'd like to do my share of the work.
What's that? These will be your operators. Mrs. Kemal,
You do?
And Hussein. Après vous.
What's that for?
Come on. Didn't they teach you unarmed combat at your special training center, Mr. Drake?
Certainly did not.
Forgive me. I was curious.
You could at least have asked.
Actions speak louder than words, as your poet says. Supposing Hussein had been an enemy of yours.
I'm very glad that he's not.
So, let us get to work. This is Mr. Brett's office here. I'm sure the cleaning staff can be approached in the usual way.
Are you listening, Mr. Drake? We've installed the camera. Please switch on and check.
In order for this to reach his office by the midday post, it should have left London Tuesday the 22nd. All right? My do-it-yourself post office kit.
Good afternoon, Post, Mr. Brett.
Ah,
There's a classified letter. Would you sign for it, please?
yes.
The evening paper, Mr. Brett.
Oh, thank you, Mary.
Anything else?
No, that's all, I think, thanks.
Good night.
Good night, Mary.
Switch off. All right. Let's go.
Good evening, sir. Usual?
Please.
I'll get you some fresh ice.
Thank you.
Follow home in Hannah. I wasn't expecting you, Mr. Drake.
Did he spill the beans?
Told me all he knows.
What did he say?
A little less than nothing.
We just wait, see who collects the letter, and he'll lead us to our man. Has the letter been collected already?
Mr. Drake, This is a matter from my government.
It also concerns my government.
Mr. Drake, as a member of the British Board of Trade, you are always welcome here. But I must ask you not to concern yourself with matters that are none of your business.
So your government has got cold feet.
My government must remain impartial. Can you blame them?
For sitting on the fence? No.
Then don't force me to deport you.
I'll try not to be an embarrassment.
Oh.
Thanks for waiting, Mr. Stutton. Your Lebanese friend is no friend at all.
Tyler? I'm sure you can trust him.
To look after Lebanese interests, not ours. Look, if we want to keep the initiative, we'll have to move fast.
No one can move until the letter's collected.
I think it has been. We've got to go and see Brett right away.
Ah, Mr. Drake, this is my den. Come in. Sit down, make yourselves at home. Now, what can I get you?
This is not a social visit.
Oh, ask for a drink.
No, thank you. I want information, and I know that you deal in it. Write the things which thou hast seen, and the things which are, and the things which shall be hereafter. Revelations, chapter 1, verse 19. Your courier has talked. Your organization is blown wide open. I'm here to pick up the pieces.
Joe, my dear, what is all this?
You'd better tell us everything.
Yes, unless you want to be shipped back to England to stand trial, you'll get 10 years. But if you talk now, we might be able to get the charges dropped.
Who are you?
Let's not go into that, but you'll have to help me.
Is this true, Joe?
Yes.
All right. Whatever I did, it was done at the request of the British authorities.
The British authorities?
They said I could be of service. Naturally, I couldn't refuse.
How could you have been taken?
Who recruited you?
I was given very specific instructions never to mention his name to anybody. I mustn't even try and get in touch with him myself.
For goodness sake, John, you're in very serious trouble. What was his name?
It was Edwin Archer.
Why did you give information to him?
If you don't know who he is, I don't think I should tell you.
This is official. I'm ordering you to.
I don't understand what you're accusing me of. It isn't a crime to help my own country, is it? After all, Archer is in charge of British intelligence in Beirut.
Get this off to London right away, would you please, Mrs. Stutton? In code?
Request fullest information, Edwin Archer. What a nerve. Posing as a British agent and employing Englishmen who think they're working for their own country.
And call him up. Get him over here right away. Make it official. Use any pretext.
I can't do that.
Look, I have to have him here, in the embassy, on British soil. He's no use to me out there.
I asked not to be disturbed. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Not at the moment, I'm afraid. I'm tied up. I'm very sorry. They want me to deal with some documents.
Look, that'll have to wait. I must have him here where Atala can't get at him.
But the embassy has no power to hold him.
We'll worry about that afterwards. Just get him here.
Look here, Joe. Oh, Mrs. Dutton, what's going on? You're needed. There's a whole pile of queries about those export licenses.
This is Mr. Harris, our second secretary, Mr. Drake.
Yes, we've had a message about you. We don't know what your business is, but I'm sure it can't be as important as our export drive. I'd be happy if you would conclude it as soon as possible and let Mrs. Dutton get on with her job.
We'll conclude all the sooner if we're not interrupted.
Kindly remember that this is an embassy and not a Fleet Street office. You newspaper people have given us cause for complaint on more than one occasion. I would prefer you to work somewhere else. I shall expect to see you in 10 minutes.
Of course, Mr. Harris.
All right, let's get on with it.
I can't involve the embassy.
Worried about your job?
Right now, Mr. Drake, you can have it.
All right. I'll get him myself.
Mr. Drake.
Well?
Oh, very nice. Come in.
Thank you.
I imagine it's Edwin you've come to see.
Yes, I was hoping that he'd be able to help me with a little information.
Oh, I'm sure he'd be delighted to. He was most ashamed of himself after the party. But then he always is. Will you stay for lunch?
It's very kind of you, Mrs. Archer. I'm afraid I haven't time.
All right. But dinner you are promised for. Not tonight, because I'm afraid I have to go to Dorothy Curtis's play. I can't get out of that. But what about tomorrow?
May I let you know?
Depending on how your work's going?
Yes.
Well, make Edwin help you finish it then. Edwin.
Yes, dear.
Mr. Drake to see you.
Thank you, Mr. Drake. Yes, we met the other night at your party.
Oh, I remember, yes. Should I have a drink?
Not now, thanks.
Oh, business?
Well, I was rather hoping that you'd be able to help me.
I can.
I'm writing a series of articles on Middle East trade.
Mm-hmm. Who for?
Federated.
That's Dickinson, isn't it?
No, Gerald. Dickinson's with International.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I was going through the trade figures at the embassy. I came across something rather odd. I'd like your opinion on it.
To do with trade?
No.
Oh?
In fact, I'd rather not discuss it until you've seen the documents yourself.
Ah, you want me to go to the embassy?
You should find them rather interesting.
What's in it for me?
It's a good story. I could split it two ways.
Well, I only do exclusives.
I mean, this concerns you personally.
Concerns me? You're being very mysterious. I long to be enlightened. It's a pity you've picked such an awkward time, because I'm so busy with all this stuff, and I must get it all for the airmail collection. Well, by then, of course, the embassy will be closed.
Ah, well, perhaps we could come to some arrangement.
I know. You go and copy out the stuff and bring it back here this evening. We'll have the place to ourselves. My wife's attending one of Dorothy's rehearsals.
All right.
Right then, so I'll see you about 8.
Fine.
I'm looking forward to your revelations.
All right.
Just finished. Edwin Archer, former agent M9. Do you think he suspects?
Of course he does. Entered service December 1939. Specialized political subversion. Dismissed service June 1942 as unreliable. Classified security risk April 1950. Proceed priority investigation. Present activities. Repeat priority. Now he's gone in for private enterprise. Didn't you know he was on the classified list?
Oh, I had no idea. There's nothing about him on my files.
Somebody's head is going to roll for this. The next M9 man working for the other side. What are the newspapers going to say? What's Parliament going to say? I can see them breaking out in a cold sweat already. Look, I shall want a room somewhere out of the way where your friend Harris won't disturb us.
There's a storeroom in the basement.
Let's take a look at it.
You can't go back to the villa now. It'll be too dangerous. I'll tell you what. I'll give you a couple of men. 2 of them reported back this morning.
Well, not in London now, you know. I take along my thugs. Archer would bring his, and there'd be a pitched battle in the town. Atala would like that. We'd be on the first plane back to London, and the whole network would go underground.
Well, would this do?
Yes. Yes, it's fine. Is there any other way down here apart from the main entrance?
Yes, side door down that passage.
Put your men on standby. Let's hope we don't need them.
Right.
Jake, come in, man.
Good evening.
Hold on tight. We've got the place to ourselves, as I said. How about a whiskey?
Thank you.
Did you do your homework?
Yeah.
I see.
I got my answers from London.
All right. What is it about our profession that rubs off on the personality? Do bank clerks recognize each other when they meet, or school teachers, or grocers? I must say the 1960s model is very different from the 40s. Tell me, who's in charge of M9 now?
I didn't come here to talk about the old faces.
No?
What? Let's talk about the network that you're operating for British intelligence.
How did you find out?
I wonder why we've never had anything from you.
I was saving it up.
As a surprise.
You could put it that way.
Let's hear your version.
Well, you know, I worked for M9 during the war.
Until they chucked you out.
Oh, that's the old story. Personal jealousy, departmental intrigue. Somebody didn't like me.
You surprised me.
Well, my pride was hurt, I admit. I mean, one resents injustice. The department treated me very shabbily. Anyway, as you know, I've done extraordinarily well as a journalist. I hadn't been here very long before I found out what was going on beneath the surface and what a lamentable job Mrs. Dutton was making of things. So I thought I'd try and see if I couldn't do it a bit better. Just to prove myself to London. So I formed my own little amateur organization.
Now, what about all the information you've collected?
Show you. It's all right, I haven't got a gun in here. That's it, the fat one.
Well, now,
There's 10 months' work in there. In another 2 months, I was going to send the whole lot to the department.
And this same stuff has already been passed to the opposition.
Really?
We have evidence.
Well, that must have been their agents. You don't think I've got a monopoly in the area, do you?
Get your coat.
What for?
You're coming with me to the embassy.
You can't tell me what to do. I'm a private citizen in a foreign country.
And what are you afraid of?
I don't like being pushed about.
Why the fuss?
I'm not going.
That amounts to a confession, you know.
You can't bulldoze me.
You going to stop me?
If necessary.
All right. Let's see who's bluffing.
Leon, stop us! Tell me, how did you trace me? London? I must apologize, my friends. They're clumsy oafs, but they get results. How did you trace me?
London. You've been classified as unreliable ever since you got the sack from M9.
The Lebanese took one of my men last night. What's your arrangement with them? Who are you working with? Mrs. Dutton? Who else? Look, I'm not going to waste any time. Amziku. Now, Drake, we don't want the boys to do their stuff, do we? Should we try once more? Who are you working with?
Border trade.
You're a fool, Drake. Come, people. Come on.
Oh, yes, darling, we'd love to come in. Well, we won't stay. We will just pop in for a quick drink.
Cubby.
And I'd love to see Edwin, and I've got lots of things talking about his hair.
Edwin? Oh, I didn't realize you had company.
Hello, Edwin. Surprise, surprise.
Hello, Dorothy.
Hello. Oh, Mr. Drake. Well, how are you, Mr. Drake?
Delighted to see you.
You always make me believe you.
Edwin will tell you.
Well, what's going on? I believe we've caught you up to no good. When the cat's away, you know what happens, don't you?
I invited Dorothy and William back for a drink.
Oh, now, Willie, now, where is he? Willie? Willie, where are you? Oh, now, Willie, don't stand skulking here. Come on in.
I can't get this wretched stuff out of my hair.
He was hiding his head in shame. Now, you know Mr. Drake, don't you?
Yes.
Yes, well, I'm afraid I don't know who these gentlemen are.
They're journalists. They only speak Arabic, I'm afraid.
Oh. You know, Edwin puts me to shame. I've lived 20 years in Beirut, and not a word of Arabic do I speak. Not one word. Why, even Willie here speaks a little.
Salam alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
I think that's probably all.
Well, aren't you going to get Dorothy a drink, Edwin?
Yes, of course.
Oh, how lovely. Well, I'll have a brandy. Oh, and a very, very small one for Willie, please.
Oh, I say.
You're driving. Well, aren't you surprised to see us?
I am indeed. What happened?
We had to pack up. Well, the electricians didn't turn up. Half the cast had been drinking, and then Mary had hysterics. So we couldn't go on. So Catherine asked us back here to drown our sorrows.
Thank you, Edwin.
Well, good luck to our play.
We shall need it.
Well, we must be off. Drink up with it.
Mrs. Curtis, would you be kind enough to give me a lift?
But of course, I should be delighted.
Thanks so much.
Well, come along. We must be off now. Goodbye to everybody.
Good night, Edwin.
I'll see you out.
You do come in, please.
Allow me to open the gate now. Well, we must continue this conversation another time.
Yes, I'd like that.
Jolly good.
Goodbye, Edwin. It was lovely.
Goodbye, dear.
Bye, Edwin.
Madam?
Oh, there we are. Now, do tell me, where is it you want to go?
Shall we buy?
Edwin Archer's such a pet, isn't he?
Such a pet.
Would you like to be dropped, Mr. Drake?
Oh, thank you. Right here will do.
Archer! Oh, dear, what's the matter?
I've got to go back.
Well, how will you get home?
I've forgotten something.
Oh, well, then we'll wait for you.
No, thank you.
Of course, I insist.
No, it's all right. It's my car I've forgotten.
Well, really, Mr. Drake. I'm sad.
Edwin,
Uh-huh.
what's been happening here this evening?
Happening?
What's been going on?
Oh, Drake thinks he's onto a story.
But those two men.
Yes, he brought him.
Strange friends he has. I'm going out.
Mm-hmm. Stay on. Come in. Stavros? Stavros? Stavros?
Taught you a lot in your 4-month course, Mr. Drake.
Yeah.
Mr. Drake, you are asking me for an extradition order for Mr. Archer when it is you who are in danger of being deported. The Minister of the Interior has given me specific instructions regarding Mr. Archer. In 12 hours, he will be out of the country.
Where to?
Any way he pleases.
You know what'll happen. He'll head east. That's very impartial of you.
Mr. Drake, you lied to me about that special training center of yours.
Slight exaggeration, perhaps. What plane are you putting him on?
Flight 247 to Baghdad. I thought it best he travel on a British plane.
That's very considerate.
The takeoff time is 14:23. You'll find Mr. Archer in seat 3 in a first-class cabin.
Thanks for telling me.
Oh, Mr. Drake, whatever you do, I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to be obliged to intervene.
Don't worry. You won't hear a word.
Perhaps when I get to London, I'll hear the end of the story.
Well, you always know where to find me.
Oh, indeed, yes. I have some very good friends in the Board of Trade.
Bye.
Your boarding card, please, sir. Mr. Archer.
Yes?
First class in the front compartment, sir. This is your seat, sir, number 3.
Thank you.
I hope you'll have a very comfortable journey.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This man has had a stroke. He must be taken to hospital immediately.
Are you sure?
I'm a doctor.
I'll tell the captain.
Tell him to get an ambulance. He must have immediate attention.
Yes, sir.
How is he?
Still unconscious.
They're sending an ambulance.
Hope it'll be in time.
I hope so, too.
Follow me, please. There is a doctor on duty at the airport, sir.
I'll catch a later plane. I want to see that he gets into safe hands.
I see.
It's lucky we had you aboard.
Don't worry. It's my responsibility now.
Bye.
Thank you. Drive to the embassy. Don't stop for anyone.
But they've taken them. He's gone.
How's he feeling now?
Wonderful. Can I have a cigarette? What was that stuff you pumped into me?
Just a little something to steady your nerves.
Pentothal, I suppose.
Oh, now, do you feel like telling us all about it?
Of course. Switch on. I have 7 agents who supply me with first-class military, economic, and political material. They think they're working for their king and country. They wouldn't be working for me otherwise. 2 of them are British. Then there are 2 French, 1 Pole, and 2 Arabs.
Names?
Yeah, don't rush me, please. Now, I've been running these people for over a year now, and we've built up a very efficient little machine. Now, there's one thing I must emphasize. This network belongs to me. I created it, and I control it. The opposition have no hand in it. They simply come to me for information.
Facts, Archer. I want facts.
Oh, they have to be bought.
But you're not in business anymore.
On the contrary, I can offer you a package deal. M9 takes over my whole network as a going concern.
What's the price?
My freedom.
No deal.
Check with London.
I don't have to.
Well, they'll jump at it. A ready-made network and a chance to penetrate the other side. They'd be fools to turn it down simply for the satisfaction of putting me in the dock. No, I don't think...
We'll take over your network, but without any strings attached.
I wouldn't talk.
Look, we can be as tough as anyone, you know. We'll get it out of you.
I can call you on that. My network operates on a 24-hour warning system. By this time tomorrow, they'll know something's wrong and they'll go to ground. It'll be a long time before you can dig them out again. Why don't you call London?
Mrs. Dutton, would you get that on the air to London right away, please?
Catherine doesn't know anything about this.
Why did you do it? Money?
You wouldn't understand.
Like to.
No. It all began when I was up at Oxford before the war. You know what it was like in the old days.
Were you in the party?
No, I wasn't a member. I just sympathized. Lots of us did. There were plenty of fellow travelers around in those days, and they seemed to be the only people who were prepared to fight Hitler and Mussolini. No, we weren't communists. We were idealists.
Yet you sold your country's secrets.
No, that was long after. After I'd been shocked out of intelligence. I don't think I did wrong, really. At that time, idealism seemed a little stupid. East or West, nothing to choose between them. They're both making a hash of the world.
Nothing mattered as long as you were all right.
I knew you wouldn't understand.
There you are, in clear teleprint so that you can read it. Exchange authorized.
I knew they'd be reasonable.
But goods to remain in bond for 24 hours pending confirmation of transfer.
You're keeping me here 24 hours.
That's so we can check on your going concern and make sure you've told us the truth.
All right, let's get down to facts, then.
There you are.
Thank you. Names, addresses, and code words. Well, yesterday's enemies, tomorrow's friends, and vice versa. I should be glad to get back in the service.
You're not yet.
London will be realistic. I've proved my worth.
And what is your business, Mr. Bedlam?
Charity organizer.
It's about your subscription to the orphanage, Mr. Drake. He'll be right up.
I'd like to talk to him in private. Switchboard, no more calls to this office.
London didn't warn me you were coming.
You know the old man never let the right hand know what the left hand is doing.
What do you want?
To collect your man when you finish with him.
You're welcome.
Has he talked?
Yes.
Satisfied?
We're checking on it now. We'll know in an hour's time. Want to see him?
I'll wait.
What are you going to do with him when you get him back?
Well, that's what I've been sent out here to discuss. When you're through with him, I'll take him home and we can negotiate terms.
Funny, isn't it? If he was some poor, miserable little crook, you'd have nailed him by now.
Well, that's life, isn't it, old man?
No, Catherine, I'm not in Baghdad. I'm here with Drake at the embassy. I'll be home in about 20 minutes. Here's everything's fine. Goodbye. Shall we be seeing you tonight, Drake?
My job's finished.
Well, you were promised for dinner, you know.
My apologies to your wife.
I should be awfully disappointed. Try and find a minute to drop in on us before you go. Bring Joe with you. After all, we are colleagues now. You know the way, do you?
Yes, old man.
Turn here. Never mind, you've missed it. We'll take the next one. Now turn left. Here, what's going on? Where are we going?
That was quick.
Yes, and successful.
Thank you.
Edwin Archer, in road accident. The car was found in a deep ravine outside the town. There was only one body in it. You fixed this. Didn't you, Mr. Drake? You and your friend Bertrand. Now I know why you had to talk to him in private.
You killed him.
No, Mrs. Archer.
He knew something was going to happen and he was afraid of you. Why was he afraid of you? What did you got against him?
It was an accident.
It wasn't even his car. It was a hired car. Whatever happened was because of you. Those men the other night, he never came back. And then the phone call. I'm with Mr. Drake, he said. I thought he was in Baghdad when he was with you. mean to find out the truth. And if you won't give it to me, I'll go to every journalist in this city and tell them what I know about you and Edwin. They're his friends. They'll ask questions. They'll force an inquiry to find out the truth.
There can't be an inquiry. Your husband was a British intelligence agent. He was working on an assignment when he was killed.
Working with you?
Yes.
What happened?
I don't know. We finished the job and I thought he was on his way home.
Why did he say he was going to Baghdad?
To mislead anyone who was interested in what he was really doing. I can't tell you what that was.
Why should I believe this?
There'll be a letter from London.
Official condolences.
Be able to read between the lines.
He should have told me.
How could he?
Was his work very important?
Yes.
I knew he worked with intelligence during the war, but I never guessed he was still doing so.
He was a very good agent. Sorry, Mrs. Archer. Believe me, I'm sorry.
What you did, Drake, was unpardonable, and you know it.
Sir?
You had no right to take it on yourself to speak to the wife. You broke your cover.
Should I have better spread the story to the press?
No, you could have found some other way of keeping her quiet.
I could have killed her.
If that's supposed to be humorous, Drake, I find it in singular bad taste.
Why was Archer executed? He could have been brought back. He could have stood trial.
Executed? He died in a road accident.
And that assassin of yours had got nothing to do with it.
Drake, you're forgetting yourself.
I wish I could forget.
And that will be all.
Don't worry about his wife. She won't talk.
Oh, yes, we're taking care of that. We've asked that our husband be given a posthumous award.